Hey guys, Rez the Collector here, and it is time for another DC Direct versus Mattel Showdown. Now, I'll let you guess which one is which. Are you done? Alright. Well, as I'm sure all of you guessed, this is the Mattel figure. No, I'm just kidding. This is the DC Direct Superboy Prime figure, and this is the DC Universe Classics Superboy Prime figure from Mattel. So, I've done one of these videos, and I'll go ahead and put a link, and there goes my music, put a link in the description, and that one was New 52 Superman DC Collectibles versus Mattel. Now, just first impressions, the DC Collectibles is amazing under first impressions. The S is awesome. The face sculpt is amazing. We've got the red and black eyes, the hair, the way the anti-monitor suit looks on him, the cape, just flat out breathtaking. The amount of sculpt detail that they've got into this figure, they just did an amazing job. Now, if you can't tell, I'm a little less blown away by the Mattel version. Starting off with the S. I mean, compare those two S's. I mean, it's small and kind of oddly shaped. Yeah, it's just, I mean, when compared with the DC Direct S, it's kind of pathetic. Of course, the Mattel's going to have a lot more in the articulation department. And I don't know if you can notice this, but on mine, that leg here, right there at the underroo, is just it's discolored. It looks like they had either gotten the part from another plant or they were out of paint, whatever. I do know that this isn't the first fig I've seen like this. There's another reviewer who had done a review of his Superman S3 sculpt fig, and it had the same problem, same leg, same discoloration. So it's obviously it's a quality control issue. You don't see a lot of them, but he definitely has it. Taking a look at the hair, kind of similar. He has, the Mattel version has more of the spit curl, whereas the DC Direct version is just kind of fallen, and I think that's a good analogy for the character, where that S curl is just kind of fallen. He's the fallen hero, the fallen version of Superman, even more so than I would say than Ultraman, because he was, you know, he wore the Superman suit. He was for a very short time. I mean, for those of you who don't know the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was from what in DC Universe would be considered our Earth, where his parents had named him Clark Kent, and only when the Superman from Earth 1 had showed up did he find out he actually had powers, and then he joined the fight against the Anti-Monitor, and ended up in a pocket universe with the Superman of Earth 2, that Superman's wife, Lois Lane, and the Alexander Luthor of Earth 3, I want to say. But a whole storyline come about. They actually get out. He goes bad and ends up with the Anti-Monitor armor. And what that's supposedly doing is funneling solar radiation into him to make him even stronger, to make him more than a match for the Superman Earth 1, his counterpart. So now when it comes to the armor, I love how the DC Direct comes down. I could have used a little bit more detail in the armor. Actually, Mattel has them beat a little bit in that aspect. I actually like the belt a little bit on the Mattel. I could use the gold port being a little lighter. Of course, they've got the hoses in different spots on the figures, but I do like that the pauldrons here, the gold is kind of separated. Now, I do wish, of course, that this came down further and that was a bigger S. But on this one, they're all three just kind of together in one big blob, and then they go into the back in this almost. When I first saw it, I thought it was Spider-Man. I actually do like it better here on the Mattel. Oddly enough, I like this back piece better. And I actually like the cape a little bit better on the Mattel. Now this is a much nicer material. It's much softer than this. This is a very hard and rigid material, but I like the way that you can tell that it was at one point squared away, and they did the darkening of colors. I don't know how well you can see that around the holes and everything really nicely, whereas this just kind of has black specks all over it. And of course, when you can see it's pinned behind his back, like it's under the armor, and that's why it's coming out like this. But I think if they'd have squared it off just a little bit more, the way the Mattel did, it would have made it look even that much more badass. Now, as I said, of course, Mattel's going to win in the articulation department. The DC Direct does not have, that's about as far out as up as his arms are going to go because of that armor. And I think that's one of the reasons that Mattel kind of skimped on that armor a little bit. It was to give him a bigger range of motion, which is great and all. And DC Direct, I mean, they're more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, that's what they're going for. There is the more aesthetically pleasing, more of a statuesque for collectors, and then this is more so to be played with. Overall, of course, the Mattel figure is going to win, and actually this is one of the few times that size-wise, height-wise, Mattel actually took it, and the Mattel figure is just a little taller. But of course, this is Superboy, so he's not supposed to be that tall. Also, the Mattel figure has the skin tone. I love the paleness of this Superboy. He looks like he had been locked away from the sun for a very long time. Whereas this guy, he has like almost a Mediterranean look to him. And he's got a very deep and rosy color to his skin. So there we have it, Mattel versus DC. Now just to go over the articulation. He, of course, does have elbow and hand articulation. The arm, like I said, it does not really go very far because of that armor. Legs do have decent articulation. Just up and down, we do have knee and I think we have ankle. Very slight, no ankle. Absolutely no ankle articulation. And of course, the Mattel figure has all the standard Mattel articulation. It's got the... it's got full bicep, full arm. I mean, his arms actually they do go up pretty well. Yeah, they really skimped on that armor to give him that range of movement. Full range of arms, bicep, elbow, hand. Of course, the back and forth and the side to side with standard Mattel. He does have thigh, knee, and ankle articulation. So, I mean, my call here is, of course, going to be the DC Direct. Because, I mean, I'm a collector. I'm not putting these on display. So, the one I'm going to like the most is the best display piece. The paint job is fantastic. That belt there, a little bit of a jacked up paint app there on that belt, the top, but you're not really going to be seeing that too much because you're going to be looking at it more head on. So definitely, I mean, that's my call. My call is DC Direct all the way. Articulation is one thing to say, but it's a display piece. So let me know if you agree, disagree. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the video. This is also going to count as the review for these two guys because I'm not going to do separate reviews. I will in the future, anytime I've got Mattel and DC versions, I will go ahead and do the showdown. I think I've got one more. I've got Classic Suit Superman, DC Direct, and the new S3 sculpt I'll probably do together and take a close look. That's actually going to be a good fight. Oh, and one last piece, he does have, of course, ab articulation. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and you have a great night.